Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to be talking about why you should not chase a number on the scale, why you should not use the scale as your main form of measuring your progress on your fitness journey. I know the scale can be something that is, I guess, a lot of times with personal trainers, health and fitness coaches, the social media, we hear it either like you should use the scale and, learn how to love it and learn how to use it and understand it and don't be afraid of it. Or you should completely stay off the scale and not use it at all. And I guess I always like to find a middle ground. I don't like either one of those options. I don't like the fact that you should not understand it because you should. And I don't like the fact that you should basically be afraid of it and not use it at all. I think that there's a middle ground that we can find, and that's what I'm all about. Ditch that all or nothing. But I also don't want you to be afraid of this scale, but I don't want you to put so much emphasis on it that it's the only reason that you even sign up for a fitness program, that it's the only reason you start your fitness journey. I just want to, devalue the scale and talk about that today, because I think that even if you completely understand what I'm saying and you understand that it's, there are a lot of non-scale victories and there are a lot of other ways to measure your progress as far as your fitness journey goes, I know that number on the scale is still sneaky. I know that it still matters. I know that you still care, and that's a good thing. So I just want to bring awareness to this topic because I have a lot of clients, and a lot of the time they are really focused on the number on the scale. And we work really hard. I work really hard with my clients to find a middle ground and not associate so much of their worth with the number on the scale, but to figure out how to have a healthy relationship with the scale, basically, just like having a healthy relationship with other humans and your workouts and your nutrition. So, we're going to really dive into that today. So I am excited. So in order to kind of really understand why you should not chase a number on the scale, we really need to start out by talking about why we even chase the number on this scale. So there's so much emphasis on that number. There's also a lot of emphasis on clothes size and things like that. But I think right now, as far as my ladies, they always want to lose 10 pounds, lose 20 pounds, weigh, a certain amount. And we allow that number. It's like when you think about it, why do you want to weigh less? It's because it's different for every woman, every situation, but we oftentimes allow the number on the scale, the amount that we weigh, the amount of pull that our bodies have to the earth, we allow it to dictate our worth, and we allow that number to change or to dictate how we feel about ourselves. If you wake up in the morning and you weigh yourself and you lost 2 pounds, you are ecstatic and you feel like you've done a really good job and you're pumped and you have been doing things right and you're so excited, right? If you get on the scale in the morning and it stayed the same, or went up 0.5 or went up 2 pounds, or if you don't like the number on the scale, basically, it ruins your whole day and you feel like you have to change everything. You don't like who you are. It dictates your thoughts for the day, what you eat, everything. It really can dictate your worth and how you feel about yourself. And it's a number. I mean, it literally is the number it's what you weigh. It doesn't dictate your worth. No one cares about the number on the scale for you other than it being healthy or not healthy. That would make me care, but I'm not friends with my friends because of the number that they are on the scale. So anyway, we also think that the less that we weigh, AKA the smaller that we are, the more confident that we will feel. We think that, once I lose these 20 pounds and there's this certain number on the scale, that I will be happy, that I will feel confident, that I will feel good in my clothes, that all of my problems physically will be solved. That's just not true, but that's what we think. And we also compare ourselves to others. I hear that all the time. People used to ask how much I weigh. I'm small and I'm short and I'm pretty petite, but that doesn't mean that we should weigh the same. Just because I weigh, a certain amount doesn't mean that you should weigh a certain amount. It doesn't have anything to do with that. So we often compare ourselves to others weight-wise. We compare our clothing size. I remember growing up and just, borrowing my friends' clothes and like looking at the number and feeling like, oh, they're wearing an extra small and I'm wearing a smaller medium. Like, man, it made me feel so big, which is insane. But, to have my friends wear smaller clothes than me, or if they were wearing bigger clothes than me, I felt like they probably looked at me and thought, oh, she's wearing a small, made them feel big. It's insane. We also compare ourselves to others body-wise. So we compare ourselves to others in what they weigh, in the size of their clothing, and what their body looks like. Are they smaller? Are they muscular? All of the things. And so that's why we chase the number on the scale, because it makes us feel a certain way, dictating our worth, how we feel about others. We compare. We think that the less we weigh, the smaller that number is, the more confident that we will feel. And so there could be different reasons for you. Most definitely. This is pretty general. This is what I find with my clients. And so that's why. And so when you start to think about why you even care about the number on the scale, it becomes a little less important when you really think about the fact that it doesn't dictate your worth, and your friends really don't care about how much you weigh. You can have just as much fun as your friend, at a concert. If you weigh a little more than her, it doesn't matter. You won't necessarily feel more confident or good in your skin if you don't fix the things on the inside, if you weigh a little bit smaller. And so if you look at all of the reasons why we're chasing that number on the scale, or why we put so much value on our weight, they really kind of become silly. And that's the whole point of me going through them, is for you to understand that like we really don't need to have that number on the scale dictate our worth. And yes, I am bringing you this information the second week of January because I know you've started diets. And if you've started even my programs, like you started diets, you've started programs, you've started workouts, you've probably cut out foods, whatever you're doing to start the new year and trying to live this better, healthier life, it gets hard, even in the second week. And so instead of coming to you with some tough love and some hustle and some, all these things, I really want to talk to you about real life shit and why you should really not be focusing on the number on the scale and what you should be focusing on instead. Because I know these next couple weeks are going to be hard for you as you try to, please tell me this isn't you, but if it is, if you're trying to basically overhaul your entire life right now, throw out everything you did in 2022 and change everything and be a new you, new year, new you in 2023, you're going to get tired of that really soon. And so I'm here to give you topics that actually matter and things that you can actually do. So going forward, let's talk about why you should not measure your success by the scale. The number on the scale changes so drastically and so often, and it is completely out of your control. You should not measure your success or your worth by the scale because it's literally out of your control. Even at the beginning of my programs, some of my ladies can see really, really quick progress because we get them on the right track, especially if they're newbies. Quick changes can make like really quick results. And I love that for them in a way, but I also don't love that for them because if they start my program and the scale goes down really quickly, or if they start any program and the scale goes down really quickly, they think it's going to be easy. And they think that that's going to happen every week. Like, oh my gosh, I've lost 2 pounds this week. I lost 2 pounds last week. I'm going to keep losing 2 pounds forever. This is so easy. And that's just not true. Your hormones will be out of whack. Your metabolism will be out of whack. There are so many things that control that number. Like you're changing up your workouts can change the number on the scale. Eating more carbs during the day or especially at night can make you hold more water and retain more water, and that will cause the number on the scale to go up. Your amount of sleep and the quality of sleep that you get, that can mess with the number on the scale. The amount of stress in your life, that can mess with the number on the scale, and even like inflammation and other things. The amount of food that you eat and the quality of food that you eat and when you eat it, that can dictate the number on the scale. Whether you're on your period, whether you are ovulating, wherever you're at in your cycle, all of those things, there are so many variables that mess with the number on the scale that you can't control. And so it's really important that you understand that your body has to go through so many things on a daily basis to regulate itself, right? Your body and your brain, like your brain's number one job is to keep you safe and healthy and to do anything that's, causing alarm. It's going to do anything to keep you safe. And so it's going to regulate your body functions to make sure that it's keeping you safe. And so that's where the stress comes in and the sleep, the workouts. If you just started a new workout program, your body is confused. It is like, what in the hell are you doing? And so a lot of times people will think, I'm starting this new workout program and I did every single workout this week. I did 5 days of workouts. I'm kicking ass. I'm doing everything right. Why am I not losing weight? Well, your body is kind of in shock. You're changed up your eating. Maybe you changed up your water. Maybe adding more steps. You're doing these workouts. And I know that technically you're thinking that I did everything right, so I should be losing weight. Well, think about that in terms of your body. You've just added some stress to your body and something different. And your body doesn't trust you right now. I mean, we've talked about this before in other episodes, but the amount of diets and things that you've put your body through causes your body to not trust you in general. But especially when this time of year, you've made a million changes to your body. And while you think that means I'm doing a really good job, I should be losing weight, I should be seeing all these changes and shrinking, your body is going, what in the hell are you doing to me? I don't feel like I can trust you right now. I'm going to hold on to some water, hold on to some fat. I'm going to get a little inflamed because you're lifting weights. I'm kind of stressed out. Help. Your body's kind of freaking out. And so you need to give your body a little bit of time to adjust, and that will reflect on the scale. So because of all of those things that I just mentioned, and they all lump together, like I just lumped them together, that's all a whole bunch of things that are going to cause your body, and that's just like right out the gate. But as the months go on, right, ladies, we still have our metabolism that can be up and down. We still have our hormones that change day to day, week to week, hour to hour. We still have our workouts and our amount of food and our sleep and our stress. So these things are ongoing. And so the number on the scale is going to reflect based on all of those things. And yes, if you stay consistent with your workouts and you stay consistent with the foods that you're eating and you stay consistent, you want me to say that again? Stay freaking consistent. If you do that, your body will trust you and things will level out. And you have to get through this hump of the beginning. You have to get through the beginning stages. You have to be consistent so your body can trust you and navigate through these things. But there still will be life stressors and things like that come up. And so that's why I want you to focus on non-scale victories, because they are so much more important than the scale. Not to mention, non-scale victories are really things that you can control, which I love, because when we're really looking at motivation and consistency, the only way you're going to stay motivated to do something is if you are seeing results and if you're feeling good about what you're doing. The only way you're going to see results and feel good about what you're doing is if you're doing it consistently. And so focus on non-scale victories. Things like, are you having more energy because of what you are doing? Are your clothes fitting looser? That's a good thing. Are your clothes fitting a little bit tighter? That's also sometimes a good thing because your body is regulating your metabolism. Also, you're gaining some muscle, which is awesome. Remember, you can always scale back in a fat loss phase and shred down and lose that extra fat. So if you're trying to gain muscle, sometimes clothes fitting tighter is a good thing. It doesn't mean that you're gaining fat. It doesn't mean that you're getting bigger. Like technically, yes, but it doesn't mean that you're getting bigger in the sense that like, this is how I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to keep ballooning up. That's not true. Things like lifting heavier weights and getting stronger, that's a non-scale victory. A lot of my ladies these last few weeks have asked me, this is like, they have 12-pound weights right now. Should they go up to 15? Should they buy 20s? And that's so freaking awesome to have my ladies message me and say like, I need bigger weights. I'm getting so strong. That's awesome. That leads to having more confidence. And also, confidence is a non-scale victory, but also having more knowledge around how your body works. So all of these things are non-scale victories. If you're feeling those things, having more energy, your clothes are fitting differently, you're lifting heavier and you're getting stronger, you have more confidence, you're understanding. If you're in my programs and you have a really good personal trainer or fitness coach alongside you, you should be having more knowledge around how your body works. And so if you're when my ladies are freaking out, right? They're like, I did everything right the last 2 weeks, Christy, and the number on the scale is really pissing me off. They need me to come back and give them a solid answer, and I always do, about why that scale is up and why that's okay and why it will come down and when it will come down and what we need to do to get it down. What that really means is your habits. And this is something else that I want you to focus on instead. So instead of focusing on the number on the scale, which you can't control, you can focus on the non-scale victories, like I said, and you can also focus on your habits, because your habits are what you're going to do consistently, which is amazing, which are going to lead to non-scale victories and which are also in the long run going to lead to the scale dropping or raising, whatever the case may be, and your body looking the way that you want it to look like. So as we go along in your fitness journey, you are going to start creating habits and sticking to these habits that are going to make a really big difference for you. And slowly you should be able to see yourself changing into a completely different person, right? Your habits, instead of what you were doing that wasn't getting you to your goals, now you are taking time out every day to maybe stretch, maybe get a workout in, whatever is on your agenda for that day. You're tracking your macros, not to restrict yourself, but to give yourself more food and to have that knowledge around what actually makes up the food that you're eating. When you log food on MyFitnessPal, it's not to see like, oh, I ate too much. It's to see, I logged this chicken salad and what is it? It's this many carbs, it's this much fat, it's this much protein. Like that's what I'm putting into my body. So it's knowledge. You are setting aside time to journal or to check in with your fitness group that you just became a part of. So you are creating these new habits that are going to move you in the right direction, that are going to give you the confidence and the energy around what you are doing, and you're going to gain all this knowledge. And so as you do these things and you focus on your habits, gradually I have my ladies venture out beyond the scale and really think about like, okay, so the scale didn't move this entire month. Let's talk about December, for example. A lot of people did not lose weight in December. Let's just be honest. But if we think about the things that we did do in December, and we did that a lot with my ladies, like, what did you actually do? Did you actually get to enjoy time with your family and your friends? Did you actually not track your food for a while and you just let yourself be free and live? Did you enjoy the snacks and love it maybe more than you have in the last few years because you were afraid of food and you were afraid of what that was going to do for your fitness journey, right? Were you able to just relax a little bit and realize that you can get back on track in January? Did you let yourself freaking rest and you survived? It didn't kill you to take some days off. So if you really look at what you learned instead of, and what you did do, what you learned and what you did do in those times instead of the number on the scale and how much it didn't move, then those are the things that matter. And if you keep doing those things that are good and you can focus on those things, you'll have more non-scale victories, which eventually leads to that number on the scale. And honestly, by the time those habits lead to the number on the scale moving and it all comes together, you won't even care. about the number on this scale. I get so many messages from my ladies that are like, oh my gosh, I just dropped, 5 pounds finally. But my biggest win was I went out and bought new weights this weekend. Like they just learn to not let that number dictate their worth and how they feel about themselves, which is amazing. So lastly, I want to talk about how to use the scale because I don't want you to stay away from it. I don't want it to be something that you necessarily throw out. I want you to learn to use it because your weight is important in terms of your health. I don't want you to just walk around being obese and thinking that that's okay because screw the scale mentality. That's not what I'm trying to say. There is still a number and a version of you that is healthy, and that's very important. And so I want you to use the scale. If you get on it every single day, that's okay. But pay attention to how you're feeling or pay attention to what you did the day before to maybe make the scale go up or down the next morning. So really use it as a tool to see how your body works. Did you have 4 pieces of pizza right before you went to bed the night before? So when you wake up, maybe you're a little bit heavier because of the carbs and the water that your body is holding on to. Okay, cool. And that's fine. And then the next day, kind of pay attention to what you did, how you're feeling. How's your, how are your hormones? How's your cycle? What's going on? How's your stress levels? Did you sleep? And then the next morning when you wake up and weigh yourself, pay attention to how that plays into that number. So use it as a tool to see how your body works. Pay attention to the patterns and use it as knowledge. Do not let that number dictate your worth or how you feel about yourself. And honestly, if at first it does dictate how you feel about yourself, maybe don't weigh yourself in the morning. I've had clients before where I've had them weigh at night. And honestly, I know that sounds like ridiculous. Like, of course you're going to weigh more at night because your belly is full of food and you've lived a full day, hopefully. But honestly, who cares? That number doesn't dictate your worth anyway. It just describes how much you physically weigh, how much your presence on earth weighs. It's just a number. And so if you can start weighing yourself at night and seeing like, okay, I ate all of this stuff. This is how much I weigh. The next day I ate all of this stuff. This is how much I weigh. It becomes something that doesn't ruin your whole day because you literally don't know how much you weigh during the day because you didn't weigh yourself in the morning. So if it is something to you that you are obsessed with, and I have had a lot of clients that come to me that are obsessed with the scale in a bad way, and we do have to get them out of it. It's completely understandable. Don't beat yourself up about it, but just take some action into figuring out for you what that means. If you need to not weigh yourself for an entire month and just work on your habits, focus on your non-scale victories, that's totally fine. But just try to work on the mentality of getting better at other things that you can control instead of chasing that number on the scale. Because at the end of the day, you do not control the number on the scale. You control what you do, the habits that you have, the actions that you take. Those will adjust the number on the scale, but not in the timeline that you're going to want it to be. So the sooner, I did an episode a while back about how this journey is going to take longer than you want it to. Go listen to that again, because this relates to that. You will see changes on the scale, most definitely if you're doing the right things, but it's going to take longer than you want it to. And that's okay, because again, it doesn't dictate our worth and or how we feel about ourselves. It's just a number. And as always, I'm here to bounce ideas off of, or you can always reach out and let me know how you're feeling. Please have a support system and other ladies around you in a tight-knit circle. It's important to have a group of people that you can rely on, because this is important when we've been kind of taught that weight matters and you should, quick fixes and lose 10 pounds in 30 days and all of these numbers kind of thrown at us. You think it should happen at a certain amount of time, and you think that number really does matter. And it does in certain ways, but probably not in the way that you are putting so much emphasis on. So I hope this episode was helpful. You are worth so much, and that number on the scale does not define you. And it's really time for us to throw that away this year and really focus on the things that you can control and the things that matter. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I, as always, enjoyed bringing you this content, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.